Yes, people, welcome back to Crime Daily. A drug dealer who helped distribute millions of pounds worth of cocaine and heroin across the UK with his contacts in Dubai, Colombia, and Brazil is now serving a lengthy prison sentence. Graham Maynard, who went by the handle Calm T as he traded in more than 1.3 thousand kilos of Class A drugs, has been described as a leading player nationally and being in the higher echelons of organised crime. He and his business partner, Peter Bradshaw, armed themselves with hand grenades and were ready to recruit lads who will blow any CUNT's heads off in order to fend off serious threats after falling into some large debts. Liverpool Crown Court heard the two men organised their very large-scale, sophisticated nationwide drug supply business via EncroChat. A series of messages between March and June 2020, recovered when the network was infiltrated by law enforcement, showed that they had been involved in purchasing and supply of multi-kilo quantities of drugs on a daily basis and would also move drugs and cash on behalf of others, believing they would be making millions of pounds in doing so. Business brain Maynard was rumbled as the figurehead behind the handle Calm T after sending pictures of himself to other users. The 37-year-old from Norris Green had also proudly spoken of his daughter's achievements in karate and of his boiler fitting company to the 100 contacts he had stored on his device. 42-year-old Peter Bradshaw went under the name Stocky Giant. This handle was attributed to him as he had used his children's names as his lock screen password, having a total of 46 handles on his Encro phone. Prosecutors described how secret discussions included arrangements to transport 50 keys of cocaine from London to Glasgow. Maynard also asked Bradshaw to collect 5 keys of drugs from a location in Kirkby and made a request for him to pick up 30 bits from Essex, referencing to 30 kilos of cocaine, and hatched an agreement to transport 20 keys to Newcastle. Further chat centred on the movement of 45 keys to High Wycombe using jockeys or couriers, as well as supply lines in Cardiff, Milton Keynes, Leeds and Bradford. Together, they organised a fleet of vehicles, including transportation with secret hides where they would stash their drugs. On one occasion, Maynard was asked by Saggy Sloth whether he could arrange the movement of a 2-bar from Brum, transporting 2 million in cash from Birmingham to London. He suggested that his payment should be 10 grand per million and that there would be 6 million per month to be moved. Another plot saw defendants consider hiring a recovery truck to tow a Mercedes Sprinter van with a hidden compartment inside. They also referred to using an accountant to set up businesses to use to fold in order to avoid paying VAT. Bradshaw and Maynard were said to be equal business partners at the outset, although the latter had more contacts and business acumen. The former, meanwhile, struggled to pay his debtors and spoke about raising funds by remortgaging flats and properties that he was renovating. By June 2020, Bradshaw had racked up significant debts and was coming under serious threat, including from fellow EncroChat user Fierce Crow. But discussions between him and Maynard suggested they had weapons and contacts who could beat him up. One text suggested by Bradshaw on June 12, 2020 read, "Mate, me and Tony have got a gym bag full of them. I've got pineapples and everything I brought years ago." It's not about that. He crossed the line saying the kids and that lie. The term pineapples is commonly used to refer to grenades. Maynard then replied, "Lad, I've got kids here by my mum's who will blow any CUNT's heads, never mind legs off. F him." Conversations also detailed Maynard's involvement in the importation of both heroin and cocaine. In one exchange with the handle Atombar, he said, "He had the main kid in Brazil as my contact and boasted, 'No one has got him, only me.'" Responding to a request for cocaine from Fighter Lilac on May the 27th, Maynard responded, "Transport goes every week, 8 grand from Colo, takes 32 days. In other messages, he detailed having significant contacts abroad and said he was trusted by others based in Dubai, South America and Europe to move money and drugs on their behalf. A third conspirator, Michael Abu, was initially recruited by Bradshaw as a courier, using his cover as a maintenance man to transport big sums of drugs and cash. However, he refused to travel to Scotland as he had previously been arrested north of the border and subsequently convicted of drugs offences. The 29-year-old also arranged for others to run couriering jobs on his behalf and eventually branched out into brokering his own deals. Abu of Netherton, operating using the handle Witty Hound with an Encro phone he was given by Bradshaw and having 10 Encro contacts stored on it. In total, Maynard was evidenced to have agreed deals to supply a massive 1,235 keys of cocaine, 89 keys of heroin, 88.5 keys of cannabis, and 1,195 litres of amphetamine oil. Bradshaw was found to have discussed the trafficking of 1,067 keys of cocaine, 175 keys of heroin, 380.5 keys of cannabis, and 374 litres of amphetamine oil, while Abu was involved in the sale of 467 keys of cocaine, 3 keys of heroin, as well as 60 keys of cannabis, and the transfer of 764 grand. Bradshaw was arrested in September 2021 while driving a Mercedes Sprinter. Police seized 5,800 in cash from him, as well as finding a series of different properties linked to him. His 2 previous convictions include an 8.5 jail term he got for the importation of Class A drugs in 2011 as part of a £14 million plot in Cumbria. Bradshaw then received a suspended sentence for assault occasioning actual bodily harm in 2019 after breaking a man's nose during an attack in a bar in Liverpool. Maynard was detained on the 6th of January last year while driving a Ford Transit van on Lorenzo Drive in Norris Green, with a search of his vehicle revealing tick list high-value watches along with a lot knife. He has 4 previous convictions for 5 offences including robbery and violent offences in Greece. Abu was held by police at his home address on the 7th of June 2022. He has 3 previous convictions for drug supply. Defending Bradshaw, the court heard that the Dada 3's involvement in the underworld ended with him owing debts of some $750,000, resulting in serious threats being made to him. He added, "There's a plain and obvious hierarchy. There are those at the top in Dubai, the likes of Fierce Crow and Heineken Booze, acting for great profit. Next down in the hierarchy, we find is the likes of Mr. Maynard. One step down from him is Mr. Bradshaw. While in some sense these men acted in concert effectively as partners, Mr. Bradshaw was very much the junior partner. He was a man completely out of his depth and unable to operate at this level, failing to generate any personal profit and digging a bigger and bigger hole. The defendant was lacking in the business brain this would acquire. Whatever advantage there was to be made, he made little or none, quite the opposite. This is a man who is sorry for what he has done and is determined to put it right. There is another side to Mr. Bradshaw, a much more attractive side." The defence for Maynard described his client as a decent, hard-working, honest man who has previously run marathons for charity. He said he has had the courage to acknowledge his wrongdoing. His family are appalled but stand by him, perhaps only for that reason. He has 3 young daughters and he has let them down and let them down badly. He was trusted. He is close to those who are at the top but more detached and leading a very different life overseas. At arm's length and letting the conspiracy run itself in his hands in this country, although the responsibility is his, the reward perhaps is not great for him as it is for them. Daniel Bramall, defending Abu, said, he is remorseful. He doesn't have any justification for what he has done and will have time to reflect on his actions more during the lengthy custodial sentence he is going to serve. This wasn't Mr. Abu's operation. Mr. Abu is essentially at the bottom of the pecking order. Maynard, who appeared via video link from HMP Manchester, admitted conspiracy to import heroin and cocaine and conspiracy to supply heroin, cocaine, ketamine, amphetamine and cannabis. Appearing via video link from Manchester on Wednesday morning, he was jailed for 21 years. Abu pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply heroin, cocaine and cannabis and conspiracy to launder money, and he was jailed for 15 years. Bradshaw, who admitted conspiracy to supply heroin, cocaine, ecstasy, amphetamine and cannabis, will be sentenced at a later date. Yeah, people, that's all for this one. But anyway, check back for more, yeah? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.